Saturday, good afternoon. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift episode 131. Just to be clear, that's 131 weeks in a row, no weeks off. We have a very special guest on today, Big Grant. We're going to bring him on in lesson 5. I'm super pumped for this one. Let's drop some questions in the chats. Let's be super engaging, guys. Let's have an unbelievable morning right now. There's literally no place in the world that I'd rather be than right here with you guys. Did something weird today. It's pouring rain out here in Manhattan. I'm training for the New York City Marathon. And so I went upstairs and used the treadmill for the first time in years. A little more boring, if I'm being honest, than running outside. But we get it done, no excuses. Grant, I see you, brother. We're going to bring... Let's get this party started. Kim in the house, great to see you. Big Dave, I see you. There he is.
Hey, I don't know what happened. Sometimes the gram does not let me gramify myself, and it was showing you not being alive, so it meant you were dead.
Dave, not even Instagram can stop our Instagram Live.
Because we've been doing this for 100, and it looks like 31 episodes.
You nailed it.
Ooh, wow.
How are you?
I am amazing, man. It was a long month this week, but I got through it, and I got to see you a couple times there, and yeah, I'm just crazy, man. I can't remember where I was and who I was with, but every week is getting better and better. So excited to be here with you every Saturday.
It's so impressive, the schedule that you not only maintain but thrive in. You're one of a kind, and I acknowledge you set such an amazing example, no excuses, and I love you. I don't want to acknowledge you for that.
Well, thank you, man. I do study time, and it's amazing. I just feel that it frustrates me when I want more for other people than they want for themselves, because I get so much out of every 24 hours, and the outcomes are better than the trajectory in which I'm moving towards a goal and objective. And, you know, the idea of this guy here, the ferocious Buddha, of being ferocious every day and only spending minutes and moments outside of that ferocity, and but yet being a Buddha when it comes to the outcomes. You know, so much time. I reflect back when I was your age of all the time I wasted, you know, on people, places, things, and circumstances that I was giving the wrong meaning to, and I had no control over.
Beautifully said. That's why I'm really glad I have you in my corner.
You got your back, baby. Like I tell my own kids, I love you, I'm proud of you, and I always have your back. So don't mess with Craig Siegel.
That's right, and vice versa.
Even if he doesn't button his shirt like I've told him 16 times, but he's always showing off that chest of his.
I love you. The Paradigm Shift has significantly grown and improved, and honestly, the conversations that we have on here and the guests that we bring on are so the podcast quality. I'm super pumped for today's guest, Grant. I'm going to bring him on in 1 minute, but before I do, I wanted to ask you a question.
Wait. Someone told me that we might start bringing 2 guests on.
Who said that?
Someone on my team said, hey, you got so many people that want to be on the show. Why don't you bring 2 guests on in 30 minutes?
Wow.
I'm just saying. That's what was told to me.
Okay. Well, let's talk after this.
Right.
Love that. People often ask me, so I have my answer, but I want to hear yours, thinking about the audience. Were you scared to leave a stable job and step into the unknown and unpredictability? And I know there's so many people that want to do something else, but they fear stepping into something that's not familiar and so forth. Why is that? And what's something they could do that's tangible to maybe overcome that fear?
Yeah, well, first of all, I fortunately faced this right out of law school, because the person I respected most, that cared the most about me at that time when I was 24, told me that I should be a real lawyer. I went to law school to please other people, what they think. I went to law school for that stability. And when I graduated, I had a job to be an oil and gas litigator for $150,000 a year plus bonus right out of law school. That is the bomb of all bombs. But I chose to get into the internet, even though the person who loved me most and cared most about me told me the internet was going to be a fad. It never was going to last. And then in the first month, I was presenting Westlaw, Legal Research Online, in 1992 with XT computers, 9600 baud modems, dial-up service in a monochrome DOS environment. If you don't know what those words mean, Google them. You'll see I'm talking slow and unfortunately extremely difficult and cumbersome to use. But Justice Scalia himself, talk about panic. So I make this decision to step outside of what other people want for me, what I'm missing, what I don't have, stability. I step outside of my law degree, $100,000 in debt to be a real lawyer, giving up a $150,000 job plus bonus. And Justice Scalia tells me, nobody will ever do research on the internet. You need books. And this is what one of our greatest thought leaders told me in 1992, and I stepped outside of that. Terrified, puking in the bathroom afterwards, going to myself, holy crap, I have effed up my life. I'm an idiot. They were right. And then I decided, as I walked out of there wiping the puke off of my lips, I'm like, no, they're not right. I have control of my skills, my knowledge, and my desire. And I'm going to every day, consistently, persistently, without quit, pursue the potential of this opportunity. And if they are right, then I'm being protected and promoted, because this experience will just make me a better lawyer, or it'll make me a better business person. It'll make me a better humanitarian. I don't know what it's going to make me, but it's going to make me better. And so every time I was faced with those type of things, I puked either in my mouth or in the toilet, terrified. And then I reminded and remembered and recollected that I'm connected to an omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing source that loved me more than my mom, but actually knew more than my mom. So I'm not even going to listen to my mom. I'm going to continue to live my life protected and promoted, not punished and scared.
Yeah, I love that. And one takeaway that I really got, I'm going to bring on Grant right now, is that you're not so attached to the outcome. It's what you're going to learn in the process, regardless, and that's priceless.
That's the ferocious Buddha, but let's bring the other ferocious Buddha on. Yep. Grant's waiting patiently.
Yes, he is. We got this. What do you got going on this weekend, Dave?
I got a lot going on. I'm speaking today at Cole Hatter's event. I'm going to Miles' football game. I'll play a little golf with Miles, watch some Chargers. Hopefully they won't go 0-3. Yeah. This Charger shirt's older than I am, but anyway. Hey, Grant, nice.
What's up,
Talk
guys?
about the best looking guy here. Jesus Christ, Greg. Do you know anyone ugly? Do you know anyone ugly besides me?
I was going to say, I'm now the third most handsome cat in this live. Happy Saturday. Welcome, Grant. How are you, brother?
Welcome, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see everyone.
Yeah. Where are you dialing in from?
So I'm in, I live in Austin, but I'm in Dallas at the end of the week. I was seeing some of my teams up here in Dallas, and so been up here, and it's been great. It's a great city, so it's good to see you guys.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thank you for joining us. Let's dive right in. I'm going to be respectful of everybody's time on a Saturday. For our audience and community that might not have been familiar, do a deep dive, play catch up, follow Grant, check out all the awesome stuff he's got going on. We're just going to dive right in. This is a fun one. I'm excited to ask you, Grant. I saw you talking about this on one of your pieces of content, and it's so good. I think it's a superpower in itself.
Yeah.
How can someone listening today begin to think bigger?
I think the biggest, people are many times a victim of their environment. So they usually think to the capacity of what they know. It's one thing if you hear something. It's one thing if you know someone that did this. But if you can find a way to see it, feel it, touch it, just go talk to someone that's doing something that's so big that it's hard for your brain to process. It immediately expands your thinking. I've oddly had like a lot of weird conversations recently. For example, let's see, this would be 6-7 years ago at the time when I was playing junior college football in Long Beach. Couldn't rub two pennies together. I was selling DirecTV in Walmart, trying to make $1,000 a week so I can make rent. And I had a 2-bedroom apartment in Long Beach with 7 guys. You can do the math on that. We were sleeping. The living room was a room. It was just crazy. But I ended up working with someone that was in sales. Now he has his own business, and I was talking to him. He was just starting it. And he was asking me how we grew so much and all these different things. And we had a 30-minute conversation, right? And was just telling him how we scaled and all the different things. Within a week, just his logo is different. This is different. He's hiring all these people. This is happening. That is happening. He's like, dude, I'm so glad I came and grabbed a drink with you. And, you know, it's fun, and it's such a good feeling to be around people that are so talented and have so much output and leverage that they almost make you feel like, what the hell am I doing in my life? And that's the best thing I can tell you guys is you don't need to come from anything. Just go to the nicest part of town. Go find the most successful person you can know or think to, or just one conversation, and it can be a wake up call and kind of expand your thinking.
Beautiful. Be said, right, Dave?
Yeah, I think there's two things inherent in what Grant's talking about. And one is how important mentorship is, but not just mentorship specific to where you want to be. I tell people all the time, find someone who's sitting in a situation that you want to be in and ask them for help. The fastest way to get to where you want to be is find someone that's already there and ask them for directions. But the more subtle thing that you suggested in what you were saying is the awareness to where your brain has limited your self-image. And this is a very interesting nuance that everyone should be cognizant of, is that when we can't even wrap our brain around how to make $100 million or $1 billion, or we can't wrap ourselves around how we can get into shape, or we don't wrap ourselves around how we could start a business, build a business, have 1,000 franchises, whatever it may be, I think it's really important to identify and be aware of where the limitations of our own self-image are, because that in itself will allow us to ask the right questions of the individual. It also will inspire us to ask for help from the individual that already sits in that situation that we want to be in. And so the nuance is obvious. I think of everyone out there is talking about, hey, let's go find a mentor that sits in a situation you want to be in, but yet 99% of the people won't do it. Grant won't do it. Craig, they just won't. In fact, I had to force feed Craig when it came to mentorship early on to kind of, hey, dude, you've got to ask for help. Call me. Like, why aren't you calling me? I've done this 10 times.
Yeah.
Why aren't you calling me? I paid so much dummy tax. You're pissing me off.
Yeah.
And then the subtle nuance, though, like you said, of, hey, I'm aware that I have a limitation here for whatever reason. I can't even picture myself in that position, is a bigger picture, one that mentor can help readjust for you.
Yeah. So good. And even like the language that you say to yourself, right? Like, to be clear, materialistic stuff does not mean success. But let's just say you set a goal and you wanted something nice. Instead of saying, I can't afford that, maybe just changing the language to, how can I afford that? And kind of open your mind a little bit, right, Brent?
Like, how can you afford a really nice shirt that doesn't button down to your belly button, like Neil Diamond? Sorry.
No,
I love
yeah.
it.
Yeah, but I love this conversation, and we were kind of talking about this before you hopped on, Grant, but you were also talking about this, and I just thought it was so powerful. And this is universal, applicable to everybody on this live today, and that is not gambling if you bet on yourself, right, brother?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's like I can think of everything that I've done thus far, which is early on, that no one in my family had done, no one even in my area where I grew up had did. It was simply just because, maybe blindly, I don't know, I just thought I could do it. And you got to be just crazy enough to ask the questions like what you're saying. Is I think it's so important, is like the questions you ask yourself and you ask the world can really give you a good indicator of how intelligent someone is, how big they're thinking, and what they're eventually going to do. Because we're all solving a different problem. Some is, I got to make $1,000 just to get my car running. I got to figure out how to get the gas. I remember when one of my first goals was, I just wanted, when you fill up the tank and it's full and it goes, and it makes that noise. I just wanted to hear that noise. And the questions and the problems that you're solving will tell you the level of the person and how big they're thinking. And so you got to believe in yourself. And I think you can do this through affirmation, but I think you can more so do this through just trusting yourself and getting little wins and seeing the progress of taking action, thinking big, being around people. Even for anyone that's listening on this, right? If you're up at 9:30 in the morning, or if you're on the West Coast with 7:38 in the morning, listening to this, it means you probably want to be better. It means you probably want to stretch. It means you probably want to start doing bigger things. And if you're on that track, it's a good sign that you're heading in the right direction that can create, something meaningful in your life.
Beautifully said, right, Dave?
Yeah, so true. One of the words that I utilize to transplant a negative resistant based perspective is I am extremely frustrated with people like, I'm sacrificing so much. I'm living with 7 dudes. I'm, working at the Walmart. I'm sacrificing. I was like, bullshit, man. Like, everything I do is in the perspective of investing in myself. Understand that I'm making, even, and this one really pissed my wife off. I lost over $100 million. And when I went bankrupt, and my basement had a basement at that time. And the reason I say it is I had a season this week, and it was a struggle. There was shit, this car crashes and shingles on my wall, like the dog, $15,000 back surgery. I mean, shit was happening to me that happens to everybody. But instead of my basement having a basement, it was my basement's now a penthouse because I continually do the right shit. But I want people to think about this. When I lost $100 million, I told my wife, I didn't lose that money. And she's like, Dave, there's moving trucks. There's a foreclosure sign in our Rancho Santa Fe home. They've taken our boats, our cars, the planes, everything you own. It's all gone. And you're telling me you didn't lose the money? I said, no, I invested it. And she's like, well, you invested it in the wrong stuff. I said, no, I didn't. I invested it in me. And since I invested it in me, I still have me. And watch how fast I make it back. Watch how fast this investment pays off exponentially. And so the times that I slept in the car, the times that I didn't have shit, the times that all of those things that I whine to myself, I'm sacrificing so much. I borrowed money to go to law school. No, I didn't. I invested it. And so your time, your risk tolerance are inherited and aligned with that investment. So stop whining. Be up at 4:30 in the morning on the West Coast, 7:30 on a Saturday, whatever time it is. But don't tell me you're sacrificing being here today, because Grant's not sacrificing, I'm not sacrificing, and Craig's not. We're making an investment in ourselves and our community to create abundance, to allow people to make more money, help more people, and have more fun. So it's a word that I use, and I hope that other people will instill in their vocabulary and perspective as well.
Love that.
Beautifully said. Also, Grant, it seems like me, you're a little bit delusionally optimistic. Is that right?
Yeah, I have a weird balance. So I started off almost too optimistic, and now I've actually shifted to, like, I think I can do anything, but I'm just hyper realistic about it. It's given me a lot of peace. Like, you learn that through running a business, because nothing will teach you about being a realist like running a business and having employees and dealing with everything. And it kind of gave me just complete peace. I don't care if I know it's like, this is the worst case, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, we can do all of these things, but it ain't going to happen unless this is in order, this is here, we hire this many people, we have this partnership. So I've kind of combined it. And that's what I've told a lot of people too, is that, you need to look at things for what the hell they are. If you got $10 in your bank account, you need to know it. And you need to look at it every morning until you throw up and go do something, because you can spin around in circles all day you want, but you're not going to make money unless you take action. Unless you put together an organized plan, a business, a great job, whatever the case is.
The law of Goya, right, Dave?
Yeah, get off your ass, that's for sure. But I think it's also, optimism is reconciled with the ferocious behaviors each day, the pragmatic behaviors, because each day we work within the context of man-made constructive time. Everybody has 24 hours. You have 24 hours to get off your ass, be productive, accessible, and gracious with your time in a trajectory towards what I call toptimism. We talked about earlier, not limiting our self-image, because we'll never overachieve our own self-image. But what we want to do is be toptimists. You huge optimists for the future, but today I'm an extreme realist. Right. I am utilizing time to be productive, accessible, and gracious. I am ferocious today, Buddhist, and toptimistic for the future. And I think the reconciliation between that perspective, people get confused because they instill that optimism during the day, that they can sit at home high on their mom's couch, broke and high, dreaming about their Ferrari, instead of busting, excuse my language, busting their balls to get what they want in life each day. And yeah, be a huge dreamer, an optimist, a toptimist for the future, saying, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to empower over 1 billion people to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. But today, I'm up at 4 a.m., meditating for 20 minutes, done with my workout, and into all types of coaching calls and content on a Saturday. and still have time for my family, etc. So be a ferocious Buddha, be ferocious today and optimistic in the future.
Yeah, beautiful. I have one final juicy nugget to land the plane.
Yes.
And this one is
Button your shirt back up. It's coming undone. It's just making me jealous. It's actually making me horny. It's actually making me horny, Craig. I gotta admit.
Oh man, this is great. Grant, I wanted to ask you, for someone that's coming up right now, what's something that they can do to start to gain respect early on?
Do what you say you're going to do, even in the smallest facets. So this starts with little things like, hey, I'm going to be there at 9:30, be there at 9:25. Someone says you have a target. Let's say you're on a sales team. You're like, I'm going to set 10 appointments. I'm going to close 2 deals. Go out and do it. You're supposed to have this done. You're supposed to get this sent by this time. Do it. People build trust through the actions that other people take. When every single person you're joining a team or you're running an organization, there's a shortage of people that don't do what they say they're going to do. And you become so powerful and open up doors that you can't even imagine opening up by just simply being consistent and doing what you say you're going to do, because people can trust that action. And what's interesting is it ripples, and those people go. So let's say if David says he's going to start this and do this, we know he's not playing. He's not just saying that for fun. We know it's not because we like him. It's not because he's a cool guy. It's not because he's smart. It's because his track record says if he says he's going to do something, he's not playing. And that is powerful to the marketplace. It's powerful to people that you work with, do business with, and buy and invest in you. And it's huge. And a lot of these things, it's so interesting because you hear all this advice. I'm not saying it to make you feel good. It's the simple things in life are the things that no one does. And it's what can open up so many doors, and just doing the little things right, it makes big things happen.
I'm so happy I answered that, brother. Dave, I already know why you're smiling.
Yeah.
Take us home.
One of my favorite lines, because gratitude is so powerful, right?
Yeah.
And so I tell people, why is it that nobody will say thank you tonight, even though they know it'll change their life? Why won't they say thank you tomorrow morning, even though it'll change their life, even though it takes 0.1 seconds and it's free? Because the simple things to do are unfortunately simple not to do. And I think that's a real great blessing. I want to add one thing onto doing what you say you're going to do. Sometimes shit happens. You want to make God laugh at you. I promise you, because I do this every day. Come up with a well-developed plan. He's going to laugh at you all over your well-developed plan. So inherent and instilled into doing what you say you're going to do is also being honest with yourself and others when things don't turn out the way you say they're supposed to turn out. So every once in a while, because I'm a football guy, not as nearly as good as you, Grant, but I'm a below average Division III college football player. When I tell someone, 5 minutes early is late, that's a football saying. Well, every once in a while, something happens. God laughs at me and I was late. Right. But the difference is not going to blame, shame, and justification when things don't turn out the way you say they were going to turn out or supposed to turn out, and articulate that, not just to others in a truthful manner, but to yourself. Be honest with yourself and say, what did I do to be responsible for this? What did I do to attract this to myself? And what am I doing to participate in a perception? And most importantly, what am I supposed to learn from it? And so beyond walking the walk is, I believe you have to be honest with yourself when you can't walk the walk because God laughs at you and there's circumstances that occur that you don't perform at the level that you promised. I think just as an equal to that is being honest with yourself and learning a lesson, but also telling somebody, hey, I promised you that I was going to have this to you at Friday at 5 o'clock, and I did not get it done. Regardless of the exterior circumstances, I must not have prioritized it correctly. Thank you for your patience. Will you honor me by giving me a couple extra days to get that to you? Does that sound fair? Right. And it's amazing how much respect and credibility you get from making a mistake or learning a lesson compared to going to blame, shame, and justification and saying, hey, I'm sorry, my dog ate my homework, my wife got in an accident, my uncle's, blah. I hear them all the time, and I immediately discredit you when you go below the line. But the people that call me and say, hey, man, I fucked up, Can you give me a couple extra days? I'm doing business with you.
Yeah. You know who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
this is unbelievable. So productive, awesome. We're going to share this conversation with both our communities. So, Grant, thank you so much. We look forward to doing more with you for our audience. Everybody go follow, check out Grant, all the stuff he's got going on. Is there something specific that everybody could support you with right now? What are you most excited about, Grant?
Man, I mean, I don't need anybody's support. I just love to help you guys as much as I can. If you guys want, obviously I post tons of content. I got the Grant Mick podcast. I'll have to get you guys on, but check that out. I just give out as much free content to help you guys as possible, but I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you guys so much for having me on. It was great talking with you guys. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend.
Likewise.
You got it, Grant.
Thank you, brother.
All right, guys. Cheers.
Look forward to it. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend.
Dave,
Bye,
I'll
guys.
do for 132.
See you later,
Bye, guys.
buddy.
Love you
Take
guys.
care.
Have a good weekend.
Right on.
Paradigm Shift episode 131 in the books. Phenomenal conversation. If you guys were not familiar with Grant, I would highly suggest becoming very familiar with Grant right about now. He's awesome. The Paradigm Shift episode 131 in the books. Let us know how you're enjoying the Paradigm Shift. What do you guys want to see more of? Give us some feedback. What do you love? Who have been some of your favorite guests? Dave and I literally just want to come on here every Saturday, take some time and transfer some energy and give some value and hopefully change your perspective and supply you guys with some powerful nuggets to go to war with or to do life with. If you guys would like a free How to Reinvent Your Life toolkit, just comment the word book here in the chat, and we're going to message that over totally free. Make sure to check your messages that you got it. And happy Saturday, guys. Let's have an unbelievable weekend. And this just in, playing small is canceled. Kim, love you guys. Have a good weekend.